Let's confront a difficult truth. You are being psychologically manipulated right now. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but your sense of value and fairness is being secretly rigged. Have you ever walked away from a negotiation, a purchase, or even a crucial life decision, left with a nagging feeling deep down that you could have done much better? Perhaps you accepted a salary offer that felt low, but somehow you just couldn't articulate why. Or you paid more for a car or a house, convinced it was a fair price, only to later feel a pang of regret. That unsettling sensation of having been subtly swayed, nudged towards an outcome not entirely your own, is a universally shared experience, often leaving us confused, even blaming ourselves. But what if I told you there's an invisible, pervasive force at play, far beyond your conscious awareness? A powerful, psychological trick that expertly shapes your perception of value, fairness, and possibility. It quietly sets the stage for every subsequent judgment you make, even before you truly begin. This isn't about manipulation in the crude sense. It's a fundamental flaw in our own decision-making wiring. Today, we will uncover exactly how this unseen influence operates within your mind, and crucially, equip you with the mental tools to recognize and skillfully neutralize its power. Prepare to discover how the silent benchmark fundamentally alters your reality and your choices. The force I speak of is known in psychology as the anchoring effect or anchoring bias. It's a pervasive cognitive bias where an individual's judgments are disproportionately influenced by an initial piece of information, or anchor, presented to them. This first piece of data, often arbitrary or even irrelevant, becomes the silent benchmark. Our brains, in their constant quest for efficiency, latch on to this anchor. It then serves as an implicit reference point, subtly coloring all subsequent information and decisions. It doesn't consciously tell us what to do, but rather sets the mental range within which we evaluate. As Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman observed in Thinking, Fast and Slow, the anchoring effect is a ubiquitous phenomenon of mental life. This powerful insight confirms its fundamental role in almost every facet of our daily existence. Consider the common battleground of salary negotiations. When an employer presents an initial salary figure, whether high or low, that number becomes the silent benchmark. Subsequent offers, even if higher, are unconsciously perceived in relation to that first anchor. You might negotiate a raise, feeling victorious, but still settle for less than your true market value. Similarly, in car dealerships, a salesperson might start with an inflated price. This high anchor makes any subsequent discounted price seem far more reasonable and attractive, even when the final price is still significantly above the car's true market worth. Professor Dan Ariely, a leading expert in behavioral economics, often illustrates this with examples. He points out how arbitrary numbers, like the last two digits of a Social Security number, can influence people's willingness to pay for a product in experiments. This highlights the irrational power of the silent benchmark, even when it clearly lacks logic. It distorts our perception of true value, making us susceptible to overpaying or underselling ourselves. In real estate, an agent's initial asking price, however ambitious, fundamentally impacts buyers' offers. It anchors their valuation, often making them willing to pay more than independent appraisals suggest. Even in personal estimations, like planning a project or setting a deadline, the first number you consider, even a rough guess, can become the silent benchmark. This can lead to unrealistic timelines or underestimations of effort required, causing frustration. As Robert Cialdini, author of Influence, emphasizes, the brain is an amazing organ. It starts working the moment you get up in the morning and does not stop until you get into the office. This witty observation underscores our susceptibility to such biases in all situations, even professional ones. So, how do we begin to recognize when the silent benchmark is at play, shaping our reality? The first critical step is situational awareness. Identify contexts prone to anchoring. Are you negotiating, making a significant purchase, or evaluating a proposal? These are red flags. Secondly, question the source of any initial information or numbers presented to you. Ask yourself, is this truly an objective value, or is it an attempt to set an anchor? Actively seek out alternative, independent information before engaging in crucial decisions. Conduct your own thorough research. Establish your own personal, rational benchmarks beforehand. To neutralize the silent benchmark, we must proactively re-anchor our thinking. When an anchor is presented, consciously acknowledge its presence, then deliberately disregard it. Formulate your own independent assessment of value, needs, and priorities from the ground up. Practice metacognition, thinking about your thinking process itself. Ask, why am I considering this price fair? Is it truly based on objective factors or on that initial number? Consider multiple perspectives and possibilities rather than fixating on the first one offered. And crucially, be prepared to walk away if an offer remains anchored too far from your independent value. Richard Thaler, another Nobel laureate, reminds us that humans are not always rational. Understanding these irrationalities, like anchoring, is the first step towards making more rational choices. Understanding the profound impact of the silent benchmark is not merely an academic exercise. It is a fundamental upgrade to your mental operating system, a crucial skill for modern life. This awareness empowers you to reclaim agency over your financial, professional, and personal decisions. No longer will you be an unwitting participant in a psychological game you didn't even know was being played. You are now equipped with the knowledge to pierce through the subtle veil of influence. You can critically evaluate information, set your own terms, and determine your own true value. The omnipresent, subtle power of the silent benchmark is still out there, shaping perceptions. But now, you possess the critical thinking skills to consciously challenge its sway. This liberation from invisible influences opens up a future of profoundly more informed choices. Starting today, I urge you to actively apply these powerful techniques in your daily life. Before your next major purchase, negotiation, or even setting your personal goals, take a moment to identify potential anchors and establish your own independent evaluation. Practice asking yourself, what is my independent value here, regardless of any initial figure? Embrace continuous critical thinking as your new superpower, your shield against unseen biases. Your future self, armed with conscious awareness and wise decisions, will undoubtedly thank you for it. Step into a world where your choices are truly your own, driven by clarity, not by the silent benchmark.